We are live on YouTube.
Okay, just wait for Teresa.
Want to have us muted?
Are we muted, Kevin?
You muted? We're on.
Could you mute it? Because we didn't start.
Yes.
Are you gonna add that,
Yep, we'll have two executive
We'll
sessions.
have two in executive.
Yeah.
Two items.
for the 500?
Oh, it's already on.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on the second page,
Oh, it's second page.
tribal council items.
Okay. Calling our meeting to order at 9:10 a.m. Welcome to the meeting, everybody. Ask our Councilman Armel to say morning prayer.
Oh, and if you wanna, if I need a word, then let's say a few words. I say thank you for giving us today. Watch over all of our soldier boys and girls near and far from home. They come home with mind, one body, one spirit. Watch over all of our mourners. Watch over our youngest to our oldest and everybody in between. Watch over all of our incarcerated, sick, funeral members. That said, I want to thank you if they sketch it.
Thank you, Eric. Do we have a motion, excuse me, are there any further additions to the agenda? Under executive session, we've got one item with JS, then we have an additional item with BR.
Yes.
Do you have any other additions? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by Isaac, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. Thank you, council. Moving to the minutes, we have the September 16th, 2024 mid-monthly meeting minutes. That meeting was recessed. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Eric, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Isaac. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. September 17th, 2024 resumed mid-monthly meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Motion by Eugene. Do we have a second? Second by Teresa. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. September 18th, 2024 General Council meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move it.
Motion by Eric. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Coley. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. September 20th, 2024 Strategic Planning Comprehensive 5 and 10-year Plan meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move it.
Motion by Teresa. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Eugene. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. September 25th, 2024 CEO report meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Approved.
Motion by Coley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Isaac. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. September 27th, 2024 Treasurers Report meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move it.
Motion by Eric. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Coley. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. Thank you, council. That moves us into the ratification of the 5 signatures. On September 19th, 2024, we have approval of resolution 24-206 fiscal year 24 Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska digital equity grant in the amount of $8,975,249.31 for the construction of the IT building and personnel costs. Do we have a motion to ratify that?
Motion is ratified.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Eugene. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. Number 2, we have the ratification of October 4th, 2024, approving the revised Chief Executive Officer job description. Do we have a motion to ratify?
Ratify.
Motion by Coley, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Isaac. Discussion.
Is there any copies of that new job description around?
They were gonna get it out Friday, so it should be
So
on the
I,
website.
let me see. It is in the packet.
No, it's not.
No, not in the
We
packet.
received
So
them that day.
just the packet that the one I had on the Friday's huddle. And the only change to the job description was there were 5 years minimum experience for contracting experience. There was 5 years minimum experience for 638. So we took out the minimum 5-year experience. So that's the only thing we struck is having him a minimum of 5 years on some of those items. And so on Friday at the huddle, we passed around a copy of that and then just saw if the council had any revisions before we presented that.
Okay, so we have a copy somewhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We'll make sure everybody gets one in their box.
So if you didn't get a
I
chance,
mean, we got one Friday.
yeah, Friday,
Okay,
yep.
I must have misplaced it. Okay.
And my bad for not putting it in the packet. I just had it on Friday, that's it. Any further discussion? Objection to the motion? Motion carried 800. That brings us to new business, and we have the Neola Walker 2024 Christmas Lighting Contest solicitation, and we have Brian Chamberlain here.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I believe you have in your packet, we did the request for referral and a small memo describing what the request is about. As you know, every year, the Winnebago Indian News administers the Old Lady Walker Christmas Lighting Contest. And we are always seeking sponsors for the prizes that are paid out or given out for that event, which happens annually. And so that's why we're here today, is to seek government's approval to request solicitation, donation, advertising dollars, etc., from the tribal entities so we can hold this event once again.
Thanks, Brian. Do we have a motion to approve the request as presented?
What's the amount that's requested?
The sponsors basically choose what they want to give, and then we administer the payment of that according to the prize structure.
I make the motion to approve, Madam Chair.
We have a motion
There's
by,
no specific amount.
second by Teresa. So the motion is to solicit donations for the contest.
So could we sponsor a place?
Sure.
That'd be wonderful.
Could we sponsor first place?
That's what
Whatever
you
that
wanna
would
do?
be. What is
Right
first
there.
place sitting at now?
Last year it was 1,200.
Yeah, but it can be any amount.
So, do you want to get through, do you want to add that to your motion, Kenny, or do you want to do a separate one? Okay, let's do the motion to
Okay.
solicit and then we'll entertain the next motion. So we have a motion by Kenny and a second by Teresa to approve the Neola Walker 2024 Christmas solicitation. Is there, any further discussion on the motion? Objection. Motion carried 800. Now, is there further discussion or motion to sponsor one of those?
I'll make a motion to sponsor first place, which would be 1,300 right now, adding to the position of the new first place, because I think it's $100 increments.
Okay. Is that to be paid from tribal council donations, or where do you want that paid from?
Yeah, yes, donation out of the donations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Eugene. Discussion.
The amount that he's approving or requesting is for the council to donate?
Would be for the council to provide first place out of our donations.
Okay,
And then the motion that passed that you made was so that they could ask the organization and other entities to
okay,
donate. So the motion on the table is for the tribal council to sponsor from their donation line item $1,300 for first place. We have a second. Any further discussion? I'll just like to say for the membership, the council had a huddle last week, and one of the things that came up was trying to be more responsive and find where the council can participate, support, donate to all these fun activities happening around town. And I know some of the leadership in the past have said, well, it's all the tribe's money, so we're always including or helping. But when budgets are tight and different ones are donating, thank you to the table for being a part of that. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 800.
That's, we would make sure, Eric wins. He's gonna have a pumpkin out too. Well, I'd like to say, there's 13 places that'll make the 13th place this year. If we're going off last year's places, and there was 12 last year. This year there'll be 13. And so what that council was also looking at was more participation to our community. And so that's kind of what we're hoping for, to see more participants since we're having more places. And so thank you, Brian, for coming in today, being here in person.
The other thing I wanted to mention, council, again, thank you very much for your support on this. I know that the community looks forward to it. The Winnebago in the News is simply the administrator of the event. It was started on behalf, of course, of the late Neola Walker, and the Winnebago in the News continues to carry that forward, and we're happy to be a part of that again, and your support definitely matters, and so we will begin that solicitation process. What I also wanted to bring forward to your attention is that the WIN will also be working with the WGDC to sponsor like the Child's Hat and Knitting giveaway event.
Oh, nice.
Around or near the last day of school. And so we're coordinating the numbers for that, as well as what we're actually putting into like their gift bags, et cetera. And so once we have that forward, I'll definitely include you in the information part of it. But there doesn't need to be any approval at that at this point. So, but we're coordinating it and getting it. So as we know, the date's closing in. Okay, and then the last thing is email a video presentation, which will go out on our social media to Kevin, and if he can bring it up, that's good. If not, then you'll see it on the
Right there.
this is cool.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
we have a program that's called Canva, and so Bethany actually introduced me to it, so I was able to create that from it. And it's been a really good thing, but that'll go out on our social media
Nice.
once we announce that officially we're going to be coming forward. So,
Good job. Give Brian a gold star.
thank you very much to actually Aaron and Bethany, because they purchased the program and it's real easy to use, guys. I mean, I can do it, so so it's a good thing. So, and if you ever have any questions, just get a hold of me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Under old business, we have the Winnebago Tribe Jawjap Telecommunications right away. Under old business. Let's see.
Morning, Council. I can kind of step in and help kind of present some of that if there's any questions or anything. This is Brandon from the IT department.
Brandon, can you remind us why this was tabled? What were we waiting to do different?
We wanted land management, look it
Okay.
over and provide a recommendation, which they did.
Okay.
They changed the resolution a little bit.
Sounds good. So, thank you to land management for weighing in on this. So the resolution has been represented, and we have Okay, so now I have a question. It's got a number from the last fiscal year. Are we still going with 24-186A since it's an amendment?
I would say yes.
Yes? Okay. Thank you, Teresa, for that guidance. So do we have a motion to adopt resolution 24-186A?
Second.
We have a motion by Eugene and a second by Teresa. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 700, showing Lorelei out of the room. That brings us to the next agenda item, and that's the general welfare exclusion payment before Christmas 2024. The council had some previous discussion on this during the treasurer's report that was held on September 27th, 2024, and the motion at that time failed. And so the prevailing side has put it back on the agenda for discussion and considerable action.
Did we prove it?
Nope, I just introduced the topic.
Oh, you mean for the,
So we're on,
judge, huh?
nope, we did that.
Who made the
We passed
motion?
that. That was motioned by Eugene, second by Teresa, and that was a 700 vote.
So it's 25-01
Well, no,
or what?
that's what I was asking because this is an amendment. This
We're-
is
It's an amended.
this is an amendment to the 186. So that's
So
why
it'd be
it's 24.
186A?
Yep.
Okay.
And we are on tribal council.
7-0.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to explain this, why I have it on the agenda. A month and a half ago at the senior center, the seniors talked to me. And the first thing they brought up was the cost of bingo went up at the Winnebago. And so they wanted to know if there could be an increase to the Winnebago senior free play. And so I told them the next day was gonna be the treasurer's report, so I said I would bring it up to the general manager, which I did. And he's waiting for a approval from the gaming commission, the last we knew, to increase. The second item they brought up was that they want to see Warhorse Omaha. And they asked if there could be a senior, Winnebago Senior Day at Warhorse Omaha where they could get the same free play they get at Winnebago and the food beverage allowance. And so I told him I'd bring that up too, because we were gonna have the Warhorse CEO here the next day. So I brought that up and he said they would work and have that together for our seniors. And I understand I don't know how many went last week, but it went good, as far as I know. The third thing they
There's
brought
about
up,
120.
there was how many?
About 120.
Oh, nice.
Yep. There's
Okay,
about 55 that rode down on the bus, and then the rest drove themselves. It was a good turnout.
great. Thank you, Willie. Thank Warhorse for all their coordination. Thank our senior program for the coordination. Thank you all. Then the third thing they brought up was that there's a hard winter coming. And they said the cost of food has gone up. And they see that all the different entities are getting some kind of bonus at Christmas. But they don't see that the members have gotten anything and they're wondering if they could get something before Christmas because of heating costs and food costs. And so I told them I would bring that up. So that's why I keep bringing this up. It's because they asked. And we, a year ago, we made a motion, we gave a 500 payment before Christmas last year. But we also discussed a 500 payment to the members before powwow. But if we had it, And we weren't able to do that before powwow this year. So last week or the end of September, I made a motion to for $500 general welfare exclusion payment for all the members, and then 150 would go to the miners trust for the miners. And they already get a clothing allowance of $350, so that means everybody would get 500 this year from the tribe. I made that motion to come out of the portfolio, and the motion failed. And so I'm bringing it back again today because we were in Robert's rules, I was on the prevailing side of the motion. And I'm bringing it back today because we're holding ARPA money, and we put it on hold because we're looking at what's going to be the cost of the Boys and Girls Club. And we don't know that yet. We're still working on financing of that. But in the end, the Winnebago tribe will take money out of our portfolio to build that Boys and Girls Club, whatever it's going to take. So I'm making this motion again today for the $500 payment to the adults, all tribal member adults, and the $150 for the minors. And it will come out of the ARPA dollars we're holding.
Second.
Is that your motion?
Yeah.
We have a motion by Lorelei and we have a second by Eric. Discussion.
Like I said previously in the huddle, I mean, if the tribe's willing to take it out of the portfolio, has that willingness to finish the club, that's understandable. After doing a little bit more digging into the cost of the club right now, the high end of it right now is at 13 million. 6.5 is dedicated. That's the money you're talking about, correct? There's 6.5 that the tribe has. There needs to be an allocation from the tribe of those funds, which there is right now. Those funds are dedicated towards it. But in order for that to work, if you take it out of there, then it loses more funding, like in the ICDBG. It's going to take that away. We'll lose that as well. So then that 6.5 just goes down to almost nothing, because there's 1.2 coming from HUD as well. So that's the total. There's a 1.2 coming from HUD.
Hold on. So you explained that the ICGBD are what's in jeopardy?
ICDBG,
So is that, where'd you get that guidance from?
Joy Johnson.
So is Joy, I guess the last time we talked that the club was positioned for these pots of money and that we weren't going to pursue the Shakopee money until the New Market Tax Credit project was finalized.
Those allocations won't come until this new fiscal year that we're in
Yeah.
now. And the way she explained it is, out of that, if the total of the building right now is at 13 million. The high end of what it can receive is 25% of the total budget.
So I don't think that there are any fear factors here. It's taking the money from a different pot of money. The full commitment appears to still be there from the
Yeah.
tribe.
No, I
It's
appreciate
just
that, yeah. I
not
understand that.
the pot of money called ARPA. It's the pot of money called the investment portfolio. So I don't know what would be put in jeopardy if the tribe still has the same commitment. What was the amount on that resolution that we said up to a certain amount that would be drawn down from the investment portfolio? And then it was at a date when the project,
It was a different,
it was the difference?
yeah, it was
So-
only like 101. 1,060,000.
So at that, so to Rona's point, at that time, there was a resolution made for gap funding. And there was no amount made because there was all these moving parts on what that gap funding would be. And so here's another moving part. So now it just makes that gap funding a larger amount that that the table somewhat informally said, we'll take care of that. But I'd be interested to know what would be in jeopardy, or that if some other entity would be telling the tribe what they could do with their ARPA money would be 100% unacceptable. You know, so I just want to make sure that we understand that the ICDBG, or if anyone's contacted them, that would not be appropriate for them to weigh in
And I don't
on
think
what
anybody
our,
has at all. No direction to do any of that or nothing like that. No, I just wanted to learn, so I asked a question. And this is just kind of what came out of it, so.
I think we should have that discussion should be had with Joe in a duly convened meeting, a scheduled meeting. That way we could all be on the same page, because that's everyday council business. What we're here at this motion now, it's for the people directly. And so I think that's should be scheduled, that if anyone wants to do footwork on that they can put that on an agenda coming up.
okay, thanks, Eric. Well, in support of Eugene too, he's a Boys and Girls Club board member, and so I appreciate any information that's shared as a board member, and Eugene has a great appreciation for that project. So I think the effort is to do no harm here, and I don't believe that the project is in jeopardy by taking this action, I guess, but I definitely want to hear from the table on if they support taking that gap funding from the investment portfolio, because that's what I think is, if there's anything in jeopardy, that's the unknown on what that vote looks like in the future. And I feel the hesitation there that I just say it that.
I have a comment on there. I looked up the award and it says, according to the application, that the Winnebago tribe intends to leverage $5.3 million from the Department of Treasury. Leveraging amounts and expenditures must be tracked on the Federal Financial SF 425 and in the annual status and evaluation reports. I didn't realize that you asked that question, Eugene, and so we probably need to get like guidance from the funding agency if we are even allowed to change that.
So why would they care where our portion comes from, though?
I don't know, but I think that like that was the tribe's commitment, and a lot of the times like they will write the commitment amount in there. So that's why I would have to ask the actual funding agency if it's allowable to change, like if some is coming from the Department of Treasury and some is coming from a different funding source.
Okay, so I don't think that they're gonna say you must use federal money, don't use your own money, because the ARPA money, the ARPA money would be federal money, and then the Treasury, the investment portfolio is the tribe's unrestricted money. So Eric, I don't know.
The Boys and Girls Club, it's a national program. Is there any funding out there for that because of that? Because it's a national program? That's something else that needs to be looked into as well.
The Boys and Girls Club doesn't offer much support at all for the actual Boys and Girls Club. I think that the funding is around $40,000 that they give up for operating, and it doesn't even actually fund the CEO position in total or like their costs for audit either.
Hi, everyone, this is Janelle Decor. I just wanted to add to that conversation. Yes, Boys and Girls Club is a national program, but they don't fund it to the level I think you're speaking to, Dusty. They just provide program grants and things to that extent. It is our club's due diligence to work with our tribal communities and tribal and outside sources to find funding to, work with our club and ensure that we do have a Boys and Girls Club for our tribal children and our community.
Next meeting. Okay. All right. Sorry.
So yeah, to help with that conversation, it's just based more on their programming. That's where the funding sources are, and our new CEO has been working on that, and we're hoping to increase that amount of funding, as far as, because they do offer small grants and enough money to like to actually fund positions and do all that. So that's part of it as well. So it's all diligence, just gotta stay on top of everything. Been trying. Everybody's been working hard.
Thanks, Eugene, for bringing that up. Any further discussion?
This, when we were talking about this in our huddle. It came out to be cheaper than the last 500 that we gave out to our enrolled membership due to the fact of taking into the consideration of what was spent on our children, the coats for kids and other things like that. That now we're doing 150 for the children and then the 500 for the adults. It came out cheaper to about 2.3 million. And so that's a positive thing for this general welfare exclusion payment. So just to let everybody know that we're looking good on both sides of this. Thank you.
Okay.
So although I voted no against it, out of the portfolio, that's because I'm looking into the future of, and planning. I'm not against any distributions, but I'd like to see a plan. And with all these ifs, ands, or buts and questions up in the air, I can't see jeopardizing a program for our children. But I think we need to look into it more and make sure that we don't. The questions are unanswered. Questions were asked, half answers were given. So I'd like to see a more in-depth research on that. But the cost of living is going up. We just need to find a creative way to be able to do that without jeopardizing the future. So that's where I stand. I can't see doing it right now with unanswered questions. Definitely unanswered questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Rona, for weighing in. Eugene?
And to Lorelai's point, I think this whole table would support the increase for that assistance, right? I think we could offer more assistance when it comes down to they need help with their gas bill, electricity bill for winter months, right? I mean, you're talking about groceries. I mean, is there a way that we could give out a grocery allowance? I think this whole table would support pulling from the portfolio to do that, support that part of the program.
What's the difference?
I'm just saying it probably wouldn't cost us as much.
That's what we're asked. That's what it's for. And you voted against pulling from the
I did,
portfolio.
because I told you this is why. I explained myself multiple times to you about it.
Thanks, Eugene, for being vocal on that. I appreciate your perspective.
Teresa, I agree. All the unanswered questions that are up in the air and the what ifs. What if we take over different things? What if we have to put money into our casino again? If they did have a flood, they were shut down. We got issues with water and sewer out there. What if that happens? There's too many what ifs out there that I can't make a decision to do a per cap, even though I could use it at my table as well. I can't do that knowing that the tribe has this risk out there. I'm not,
So you don't believe in the warhorse? No.
I'm talking about our Winnebago casino.
Teresa, thank you for weighing in. Thank you for sharing that. I put the responsibility back on the 9 folks that are sitting here. And since September 27th, 2024, there's been a tremendous amount of discussion individually in the community. And so people had a lot of time to go. Eugene sounds like he did some of his own research. So Eugene, thanks for following up with Joy to ask some of those questions. But I guess I just don't accept that there's too many unknowns because each of us had the opportunity to go ask those questions. Each of us are in a position of authority that could find those answers. And so I put those numbers together at the huddle because there was no effort or plan. And so I thought, okay, well, if people want to have a discussion, I better come prepared. So I made those 2 spreadsheets. I pulled together the adoption ballot to look at how many additional tribal members may be eligible for this payment. It would be 6 kids and 6 adults if the adoption ballot passes in its entirety. So that's just kind of where I'm coming from as a potential vote breaker, tiebreaker, is that I think that the table has had every opportunity and there's no willingness on certain people's part to get that information. And we have the capacity and we have the creativity and the people's best interest. But I definitely hear the the caution in taking this step, but I challenge you to get those questions answered and not come with your continued concern. You know, if there was a valid concern and a willingness to get this done, there'd been more effort. So I can live with either way it goes, but I just I think that there's something really humble at the base of this, and there's 2 times a year that our tribal members ask something of us, and that's at Christmas time and powwow time, and those seem like really reasonable times a year when our community is active and hosting family and donating. And so I said, we're literally trying to give money to our tribal members so they can give it away to others in the form of gifts and meals for their family. And then at powwow time, if there was one, it would literally be to give away to the relatives who are visiting or to host people coming into town. So I just wanted to remind us that there's no level of bad feelings here. It's all trying to do something good. So however it works out, it's going to be good for our people. And I just want to encourage us all to be thinking on that.
I'm just gonna weigh in here. The intent here was to take it out of the portfolio. We had 3 people refuse. And the policy requires all 9 agree. So now we would like to take it out of what we're holding of funds that the Winnebago tribe got. And now we're hearing concerns about use of those funds. We could have just took care of this if we would have went through to take it out of the portfolio, and we wouldn't be having this discussion. My idea is it was going to be about 2.3 million roughly to do this payment. So if the treasury says that we got to still use that money then we'll put it back in there with the portfolio from the portfolio. So we're going to get this one way or the other for the Winnebago people. So that's where I'm at. If we find out that Treasury says we can't reallocate or whatever, well, then we'll draw it out of the portfolio. But the Winnebago people deserve this payment. That's my thought. Thank you.
Coley?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Then maybe we should just make that motion today, if we can put that money anywhere. Take it out of the portfolio today, so it's there. I mean, we already all committed where that Boys and Girls Club's gonna get built.
Yeah.
And myself, I'm on that board, and I just think we're dragging sheets. There's just too many heads in there, and I just want to turn it over to Ron and Joy and say, here, build it. Let's get it done, because I just feel we're dragging sheets on it, and the accurate number's not there, and here we are, and we don't know. So that's what I feel about that. Then another motion should be made to take the same amount of money and put it wherever. But is there a line item? Is there a place we can put that money? We already committed, and it's going to happen. I feel. I'd make that motion to do that.
Take it out of the portfolio.
He's saying
Hello,
to immediately.
this is Rinaldi Cora again. I just want to make a mention that this process for our construction building is timely. And it is timely because we are trying to be precise and accurate with our numbers and how we're building this for our kids. When you guys see the building and how it's gonna be in a year or a year and a half, it's beautiful. Our kids have nothing here for them. This Boys and Girls Club building will be the only building dedicated to them. So I'd just like to add that to the discussion.
Thanks, Janelle.
So I got. So Janelle, actually, you're the chair, right? Of the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes, Isaac.
Okay. So how much is the building total?
We're estimating it at a $13 million building.
13. Okay. How far off is it from to where that estimation turns into a reality of a hard number?
Once we finalize our costs, which include all of the interior furnishings as well as the landscaping, you know, to the parking lot design, you know, all those things have come to fruition. It's just finalizing the cost and the numbers, which is in the hands of Ho Chunk Construction, because they are our contractor.
Okay.
And we meet with Leo daily and our contractor every week to get updates, to see things moving along.
Okay.
You know, they may not be moving along as fastly as we would like them, but this is a large project, so I see, you know, how it seems to be moving slow to some.
Okay, the reason why I asked that is because, so if it's a timely manner, then we need to kind of light a fire under those other ones, and get them going on that. And then, so 13 million, you said, rough estimate, guesstimate.
Yes.
Then how much was, is that's the overall project is what you guys are kind of thinking about? Is it, it's
Yep.
gonna be, so that would be everything taken care of. There'll be a gym included in there?
Correct, Isaac.
Okay, and then, the other part is, how much was you guys short from your original chip-ins that you guys got now?
So we, 6.5 is what we originally had, so we were a good 6 million off.
Okay,
Another 6.5, you know, due to the cost and parts and everything rising from the initial planning time to where we are now, everything has increased significantly, you know,
okay.
within the construction site as well.
All right, I was just wondering so that way I could kind of understand. So right now,
The ARPA funds that are committed is 5.3 million, and they have a HUD award that's 1.2 million for a total of 6.5. So.
say that one more
numbers are
time,
right on,
Jess.
They're short.
Jasmine?
5.3 million is the ARPA. And
Okay.
1.2 million is a HUD grant for a total of 6.5. That's the two funding sources that they have allocated to it right now.
Okay,
Yes, thank you, Jasmine.
all right. So then you guys are still short then, right?
Yes,
Or-
we are, yep, we
Oh,
are,
okay.
and right now, that is our only solidified money that we have in our hand to put towards this project.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
kind of where I think Eugene's coming from with his discussion is, you know, we only have 6.5 for a $13 million building, you know, the new market tax credit, the Shakopee funds, the funding that I'm, you know, Union Pacific and things like that I'm looking for, none of that's solidified. So we're all still working on it and trying to find funds to make this building, you know, to come to fruition for our kids in the community that deserve this. You know, our kids deal with a lot in our town and they need a safe place, you know, to call their own. We don't have very many places like this in our community for them.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's the thing is even, the only place the kids got to shop is at the dollar store and get a high energy drink with a lot of sugar in it, and there's nothing for the kids here, and there's gonna continue to be nothing for the kids here if we don't figure out what we want to do for these kids. So then that's gonna raise their diabetes rates, your obesity, that's gonna raise their mental health stuff. You're gonna have all these issues for these kids if you don't do something for them. So I honestly believe that everything we'll get this built for them, but and you're short 6.5 because you got an additional 6.5 in there now, and then you're short 6.5. So I really believe in our own people, and I don't see how we could not do that. What I'm getting at is saying that if Coley does make that motion, and this table has the chance to make sure that happens, and pull 6.5 out of the portfolio to fund that in the same meeting, then everything would be taken care of, and that would also be a win for the children. It would be a win for the people, because the people would be getting something, the children would be getting something, and then they would even be getting a little bit of stuff in their account. So it's a risk. And when we started going into the Warhorse endeavors, that was a risk. I don't know how many times we heard that explained, and it still is a risk. But we're leaning on that, counting on that, hoping on that, handing out merch, all these good things. So I think all this stuff will come to fruition. I think everything will come into place. So I think it would be a good deal where we have a lot of those things when we start thinking about the kids. We have a lot of those things continue to come up. And the other day, I want to share a real quick story with you. Not that we don't have enough time here to talk about these things, but I gave this. There's this young guy. He's walking along and he's pushing his bike. And his bike had a flat. So I kind of pulled over, and he looked like a teenager. Pulled over, said, "Hey, you want to ride?" He was coming from the Kelly project. I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll throw my bike in the back." Threw it in the back of the truck like that. Drove in. I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going over to my aunt's over here." He said, "I'm heading over here." And I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Hey Isaac," he said, "how come there's nothing here for the kids? When are you guys gonna do something for the kids?" And then I didn't have an answer for him. So then I said, "Did you see what Macy did?" I said, "Macy's got a skate park down there." He said, "Yeah." I said, "How come you guys don't do something like that? Or how come you don't have a tractor, just put a bunch of dirt piles so we could go ride our bikes over there? Something simple." He said, "I don't know how to roller skate." He said, "But if there was a roller skating ring here," he said, I would probably learn how, something to do." He said, "But I don't know. How come you guys just don't do something for us? And you're always asking us what's wrong." And it was a real genuine conversation, and it kind of like hit me right in the gut. I was kind of thinking, you know what? I wonder how come, why, you know? So I just wanted to share that little adventure, that little story with you guys of even some of these young teens that are in these situations that have all these issues, you know? So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Isaac. I appreciate that. Sorry, guys, it's Janelle again. I just want to add to that, this is a good avenue to utilize your youth council, to get your youth council out there talking to your kids and your young adults to see where their minds and their thoughts and their feelings and their emotions are, and how they would like to, add to those things, just as Isaac spoke to. There should be a voice that you guys are able to hear that brings those things to your guys' table or to your ears, just like Isaac had a conversation. So that's just something I wanted to add. Thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, Janelle, for that suggestion. We need a diverse voice from the youth. I agree. Okay, so I just to kind of just to try to, in summary, in no way, and I don't like the way this is being painted, that the Boys and Girls Club is in jeopardy, because the table already passed a resolution to provide gap funding. And so if that gap funding's 2 million or 8 million, like that resolution already exists. So there's nothing in jeopardy here. It's just, it's being able to digest and stomach that there's going to be money handed out to the membership. That's what's in jeopardy here. There's no project in jeopardy. And it's really hard to be thinking of taking money from the investment portfolio to give to the membership for their whatever they need it for. That's for whatever reason, that's hard for people to accept and digest. But it's easier to digest taking millions of dollars down to pay for the Boys and Girls Club. And that just makes us feel good that we could do that. But it doesn't make us feel good to do that for the people. So I'm just trying to bring some different sides of the coin forward, that the Boys and Girls Club is not in harm's way. I just want to remind us that, because I feel like that's what people are trying to paint here.
That was just a concern. Not trying to be in any kind of way, not trying to make anybody look bad or anything like that. Like I said, it was just a concern of mine, and I just wanted to bring it forward. That's that simple. So apologies if anybody feels that way. That wasn't the intention at all.
No, because luckily the table already passed that resolution, because the table had I guess could foresee that many of, like Janelle mentioned, that many of these pots of money were not received or maybes. So that is a very real thing. And I think Jasmine said to us last week, okay, well, the more that we decide to distribute this money, that's less, what they call them, like not the retainer, like when a project goes over,
Contingency.
the contingencies. So most of the contingencies have exceeded their cap in some of these projects, but I also think that was expected. So anyway, I'm just talking here. I'm so quiet. Police gonna
35 years in Winnebago, 30 years of HCI. How many years of this Winnebago tribe we've been here? And it is about time we start doing stuff for the children. My kids are going to be healthy because they jump that fence at the school almost every night. So that kind of keeps them in shape. And so we are going to do something beautiful for the kids. It will happen. And the future looks good for our children, as long as some of us are here to do that, to provide for them. Thanks.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Well, I just want to ease our CFO's mind. I hope she don't quit us on this motion. But if Winnebago has needs, we're going to address them. Just wanted to reassure our people that Winnebago is our property, and if there's needs, we're gonna invest in them. And any of the other concerns that the CFO has, we'll address each one, because we have a responsibility. So I just wanted to reassure our CFO.
Patrice, could you mute, please? Oh, there she is.
We won't put her in the red.
I was gonna say that. I'm not gonna quit on you guys. I wish that you guys would listen to what's been said at the treasurer's report, as well as at the huddle. I don't like living on a prayer, essentially, like that this is just all gonna work out. I'm with Rona and that we need a plan. And just putting the numbers together too, based on our August amount that was in the investment portfolio. And if there is no more funding that they can get for Boys and Girls Club, and then they already allocated $612,000 for the EMS shortfall, that would put us at 10.5 million left in the investment portfolio if none of these other projects go over funding.
Thanks for saying that, Jasmine. Kenny said something last week that I've been thinking about all weekend. He said, I was on the council that created that investment portfolio, and I didn't think I would live long enough to get to see us enjoy it. And so I was happy to have Kenny's support, because it's getting to see the ideas that were put in place however many years ago actually come to a usable outcome. And now there's such hesitation to use it when it's needed. So Kenny, I just want to thank you for letting us know the history of that. And I think Lance commented during the treasurer's report on 1992 is the year. So we've come a long way, and it's so awesome that we can discuss where to put those millions of dollars on behalf of the people. Eric.
You know, if there's a lot of concerns, you know, we do have other gyms. We have a lot of gyms on our reservation for the children. We just had to coordinate with the school or the Blackhawk Center. And so, you know, there's other things besides the Boys and Girls Club that we need to worry about, that we're not forgetting any of this. You know, the seniors that have the senior program or programs, you know, that they used to do in the pool and stuff like that we haven't got to yet. And so another thing that our community needs, even before a Boys and Girls Club or to get the seniors or the housing, is a grocery store. Right now, we're all stuck on the DG. And so that's where we need to put one of our priorities right now. After this exclusive wealth payment, general welfare exclusion payment, that's what we need to look at as a store, so we can all benefit from that. Because I hate being stuck on just the DG when they're closed and we're going 20 miles away. And so that's where I'd put my second priority, because we're getting way off the subject of the general exclusion welfare payment. That's where we need to be thinking of, is a store, a centralized store, right where the old one was, because it's between the Kelly and it's between the north side of town. Because there is no rich side or poor side of town. We can't be thinking like that, even though that's what I've heard. And so that's where we need to go, and we need to press all of our tribal entities, HCI, Warhorse, our casino, whatever we need to do. The things that we have running, our food program, we could probably even get money there to help. So there's bigger priorities than just a boys and girls club, and this goes for all ages, even the infants. You know, and if there is emergencies at the casino, we'll deal with that. We have enough money to fix anything that's considered an emergency. Whether it's the water, whether it's a sewer, not only for our Winnebago casino, but for our entire tribe. Anywhere there's an emergency, we will fix that, without a doubt. And so right now, what we're trying to do is just give our little bit of our enrolled membership something that belongs to them. You know, a year ago, the motion was made for $1,000. We couldn't do it at that time, so it's been said that we did 1,000 for last Christmas, and we're gonna do a 500 for Christmas, which we did. We couldn't make powwow, so now we're trying to finish up that last 500 on that motion. And because that motion was made and it passed, this motion shouldn't even have to be made, but we're gonna just make it out of redundancy, I guess, just to update everybody on that. And so I hope it passes, and if it doesn't pass, that'll be on that council member, and you can ask them why. So that's all we're trying to do, give our enrolled membership something that belongs to their money. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for that encouragement. Kenny?
You kind of spoke a little bit to how I'm gonna vote, but any way you look at it, I'm gonna vote for this. And that's because we as a tribe have two different sources that are available. How many tribes have that? Like you said, that investment portfolio, it's there for us. Years ago, when we did this, we looked at times like this when we would want to have money and use it. That investment portfolio, to take that, it's gonna take 9 votes to do that. But, you know, on the other hand, you can turn around and go to that ARPA fund where it doesn't take 9 votes. And so, any way you look at it, I'm going to support this. I'm just telling you, it's, you know, don't be afraid of your own shadow.
Thanks, Kenny. Okay, I'm gonna call for the question. I appreciate everyone's leadership and you stand where you believe, and that's what got you to this table, so I appreciate your leadership. Objection to the motion. Motion carried. Oh.
Yes.
Objection?
The motion is for what?
The motion is to obligate the ARPA money to this endeavor, and then
It's to reobligate.
reobligate, yeah. We have an objection, so all those in favor of the motion, please say aye, signify by raising your hand. We got Lorelei, we got Kenny, we got Coley, Eric, Isaac, opposed. We got Eugene, we got Teresa. Rona, how do you vote? Abstain. We got Rona abstaining. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 2, 1. Motion carried. Thank you, council,
Motion
for the
carried to what?
to do the payment.
Oh,
Motion carried 5, 2, 1.
oh, okay.
5 in favor, 2 opposed, and 1 abstention. Take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to go into executive session for 2 items. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Move it.
Oh, did you have something?
Well, I didn't know if Coley had another motion or not.
Oh, did you want to? Well, I didn't know if you wanted to do that Boys and Girls Club one because there's already an existing gap funding resolution.
You got that resolution.
And that, okay, so. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Move it.
Motion by Eric, do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Eugene.